We're here in beautiful Southern California. JF Musial, I, Alex Roy, in BMW M5 Polizei 144B, sister car to 144A, in which we broke the record.
Actually, you broke the record right here at the Santa Monica Pier.
Yeah, passing the finish line right here at the corner of Ocean and Colorado. Today's topics in the Road Testament.
De Tomaso Pantera.
And not Gumpert.
Not Gumpert. We said Gumpert, but we're going to do just one manufacturer at this point.
Best supercar ever made. Countach
No. Stop.
or De Tomaso? Today on the Road Testament.
Exclusively at autostream.com/yoparts.
Hey guys and girls, Fastlane Daily needs your help. We want your feedback on online shows just like ours. Go to this link here or click on the link in the description below and take the YouTube survey and let us know what you guys think.
De Tomaso. JF, why are we talking about De Tomaso?
Well, I have a particular love for the brand for a Mike DeGanis of the 1980s U.S. Express.
Who won?
Who won the U.S. Express in a Pantera because, well, it's a Ford motor, if you don't know that. But
it's reliable.
Yeah, but the Pantera mixes the American muscle with Italian and European design. I think that's one of the best mixes, best mix for a car or a supercar that you could have.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the whole episode could be 30 seconds long. I think De Tomaso is awesome. Yeah. But we're really doing it because one of our viewers pointed out that I said Ford almost beat Ferrari back in the day.
No,
but actually,
they did beat Ferrari.
Ford did beat Ferrari.
And there's something that's said about American muscle beating Italian exotics.
And that was probably the first and only time an American car, in both design and power plant, annihilated an Italian make.
That's right.
Or anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, today we see you have, Corvettes and Le Mans. You do see American sports and Ford and GTs do race in these races, but that was not. Those were second-tier classes at world-class events. But Ford beat Ferrari. It's a fact. And De Tomaso used Ford power plants.
Yes, that's much like another manufacturer these days, Koenigsegg.
Is that the way to LAX?
Yes.
What time did you fly?
We got about an hour.
All right, Koenigsegg.
Yes, Koenigsegg, as you may or may not know, the CCX actually uses a Ford power plant.
Well, they don't make the CCX anymore, but it used the Ford modular V8.
That's correct.
And which was, an incredible power plant. And what's incredible about that is, since Ford walked away from Le Mans, and they make the modern GT, which is really a rebirth, but it went away. De Tomaso lifted the torch of American power in a supercar, and the De Tomaso, well, they don't really exist anymore. And Koenigsegg took up the mantle again, an American power plant in a supercar. And a lot of people don't remember, in 2005, a Koenigsegg CCX with the modular engine of 806 horsepower set the world record in NARA.
Biofuel modular engine.
Flex.
It was modified, so it was actually running higher compression that ran upwards of like 900 horsepower.
241 miles an hour, beating the record held by the McLaren F1.
Yep.
Now, a few months...
Mind you, it only held that record for a few months before the Veyron came out. But still, a Ford motor powering a European exotic to the top speed production car record. It's incredible.
And today, the subsequent models, the CCR and the newest Koenigsegg models, well, they make their engines in-house. All of them inspired, the first one's based on and still inspired by that last Ford modular engine with which they broke the record.
All of this stems off the idea that, we do love any kind of vehicle out there, European or American, domestic or import, but...
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Anything that's awesome, I love it.
Exactly. So, part of this conversation is trying to get the mentality out of the public of, Europeans are the best, Germans are the best at everything, and why should we even look at Americans? It's not true. We have to keep in mind that the Americans, that the guys over at SVT at Ford, build good products. They are good engineers. We cannot discount them from anything, whether it be in the A-Class with the Fiesta all the way up to the supercar.
Well, let's go back in time. De Tomaso, when it first started out, well, Ford was an investor and the distributor.
That's correct.
De Tomaso had engineering backing from Ford, and brought in for the Mangusta.
Yes.
Which might even be better looking than the Pantera, although not quite as good a car.
That's correct.
And then you could buy a Pantera in
a Mercury or Lincoln dealership.
Yeah.
Yep.
All the way through
And
the
this-
late 70s into the early 80s.
Yep.
And apparently there were some troubles with reliability, but not in the engine.
Yes,
It
that's
was
correct.
not the engine, it was the electronics apparently,
Yep.
which were not
That's pure
Ford.
Italian.
Right. Well, that's where it was.
Started not
unfortunate.
working, taking a hammer to it. Okay.
Yeah, we went. I mean, Bimmerfest Saturday. I had a
Yep.
great time, but I was really. This Di Tomaso thing went from being like half a joke to something really actually important, because at Bimmerfest I saw mountains of M3s and M5s and cars that you could buy new for 50 to 70.
Yep.
Used from 30 to 50. And
But there are these kids that were putting $20,000 in modifications. into the car.
$50,000 modification.
And it's like, why are you doing that to your new E92 M3 when you can go out and buy a Pantera for, what is it, $25,000 now?
You could an okay condition Pantera and put 25 in. For 50 in,
Yeah.
you have a supercar with
Yeah.
an American power plant that's had every problem already repaired out of it at someone else's loss.
Yep.
That you could have the rest of your life. And when you drive up in that, 90% of the places you go, no one knows what it is.
Yep.
Which is the whole point of buying a supercar.
That's true.
And listen, I love
And it's a
M3.
classic supercar. It's not just like a modern 430 where you pull up and everyone knows what it is. It's a Ferrari and you just are another douchebag. This is really.
Well, Pete, you're getting a lot of hate mail for this
I'm
one.
always getting hate
But
mail.
seriously, would you rather pull up in, I don't know, a brand new 430 or 458 or Di Tomaso Pantera?
Di Tomaso, by far.
I mean, I hope that we pull up some good graphics for this car, because I have seen Panteras in like 5 different iterations, the levels of performance.
Yeah.
But I saw one with a Ford GT engine in it, a modern one.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having that car? The interior of that car is nicer than almost any supercar you can buy today. I
Sure.
mean, look, if this is becoming a Di Tomaso love fest, it's because Pagani,
Yeah.
AMG power plant,
Yep.
Spiker, Audi, Gumpert,
Gumpert, Audi, yeah.
all these modern supercars, $500,000, $1 million. If you buy one of those today, or 20 years from now, it doesn't matter when you buy it, you will never be able to fix that yourself. Or
That's
walk
true.
into a local garage and say, I have a problem.
Yep.
But you could have bought a Koenigsegg CCR, or
Yep.
CCX,
Yep.
and driven into a Ford dealer,
And they would have been able to.
and they
repair
could
it.
order the service manual.
That's right.
You could probably have ordered the service manual yourself.
Yeah. It was,
I mean, I wouldn't want to have done it, but you could have. And if you buy a Di Tomaso Pantera today,
with the small block, yeah, the 302, I think. Yeah.
you could buy the parts to repair that thing yourself.
It's like the DeLorean. It's like there are parts everywhere for them.
Yeah, and I predict. I mean, I've made a lot of wrong predictions. The Koenigsegg,
Yeah.
in 10 or 15 years, the early Koenigsegg's, once the problems have been repaired out and paid for by the first guy, Koenigsegg's will have a certain special status among American car collectors that a lot of supercars will not have,
Sure.
because the torch, like the flame of American power and muscle, it doesn't just live in the Mustang and the Corvette. It lives on in the top levels of supercar design and performance in the Koenigsegg.
Yep.
Koenigsegg, hopefully they'll survive, not going the way to Di Tomaso, but that leaves only Di Tomaso really as kind of the crazy nephew of the Ford Le Mans team.
Yep.
And you can have a piece of that history
Yep.
and in a beautiful car for less than a lot of people are spending today on modded and tuned cars.
That's true.
And now I want to buy a Di Tomaso.
Maybe next time. But that's it for today on the Road Testament. I think tomorrow is a shakedown special. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Leo hasn't really gotten back to me on that. But
And then we're going to motorcycle safety school to get our licenses.
True,
With
and
John Ryan,
you're gonna-
who set the one-man solo record, Prudhoe Bay, Alaska to Key West in 80-something hours.
that's insane.
And
on
I
a
can,
bike.
And I can barely ride a bicycle myself.
Motorcycle nonstop from Alaska to Key West.
That's right. Next week on the Road Testament.
Don't say that because now we got to make an episode.
Well, let's hope that I don't fall down and crash the bike I bought for $50. Have a good flight. We're almost there.
I know. So.